You could have gone a bit quicker, but we decided to put the rev limiter on. Because if we'd have put it in the cabin, I'm sure we'd have blown it up at some time. But I'd have kept it for a few years as a play toy. Love fuel. I mean, full throttle, it was down to about, I guess it was around 9 to the gallon. 5 injectors, 4 special injectors, and a 5th injector after the turbocharger was injected fuel in, which cooled the ambient temperature of the air going in. So you had your intercooler, which cools the air, and then after the turbocharger there was a 5th injector, and on full throttle the 5th injector with far more fuel in, so you could actually see the fuel gauge move, I swear. I'm sure you could see it free fall. So have you ever thought about turbocharging it? And give me what the official brake horsepower figures are for that motor, please, if you got them over.
Yeah, sure. It's something like 135 brake horsepower. That doesn't seem much, but the car's only 740 kilograms in weight, and I think it works out to be something like 180, 190 brake horsepower per ton. I can go around the corners like it's on rails. Not many people keep up in that regard. Oh, it's a great road, I'm not bothered. I'd buy a big American fat V8 if I wanted to go straight line fast, But I love the handling of it, the way it doesn't roll or anything like that. Good right side, I suppose. I had these tyres on last year or the year before, and there was No, it just had a bit of a drizzle. But my God, the back end come out, and that's not supposed to happen with local cars. But obviously down to the tyre choice, wasn't it? It was semi-slick tyre, it was, I think. But I think, what is it, that torque? 129, 130 odd pounds of torque. That's the most important thing, though, isn't it? I think somebody describes that horsepower is something to do how quick you can hit a barrier, and torque is how far you can go through the barrier once you hit it. Obviously, it's G0.
G0FOUM, what do you said? Well, Camel Shelby, if you remember Camel Shelby, passed away about a year or two ago now. The Shelby Mustangs and the AC Cobra. And I think what Carroll said, he said, what was it? I'm just trying to think of the words he used. He says, BHP figures sell cars, and he said foot-pounds of torque is what moves them. So really you're looking for the torque figure. I always like motors that, like, say, 350 foot-pounds of torque and 350 BHP. Cars like that always go well. We used to have a Lotus Super 7. That was pretty good, and it's tail happy. The Super 7s were tail happy, but you just balance them on the throttle. You go into a roundabout and you hang the tail out a bit as you're gassing it out the roundabout. It was all good fun. But I learned to drive with rear-wheel drive cars, so, if it happened to be going sideways, it wasn't such a surprise. But nowadays, a lot of front-wheel drive cars around, and a lot of Quattros around as well. My brother just got rid of his... it was an A4 diesel, state version Quattro. And he'd had the turbo, he'd had the engine remapped and had some work done on the engine. It was just a little over 200 brake horsepower, but it had cornered like you would not believe. Now he's bought a new one. It's a real ugly looking car. It's an Audi A5. He had to buy it because he's broken both of his legs, and in fact they're still broken, but he can walk due to the steel work they've put in and around his legs. And he had to buy an auto, and he bought Audi Q5, but he didn't get the top version. He thought he did, but he didn't. It's second hand, and he just had that remapped, and I think that's took out to 310 brake, so it's a bloody flying machine. 0 to 60 sub 5 seconds. I believe the engine management stops it passing 140 mile an hour. But, that could easily be reset. I think if you took if you unlocked it, it'd probably rock onto about 160. And this is a thing that looks like a Range Rover, But it's got 20-inch rims, massive discs, and it's got the sports suspension. And we went over to Ireland there about 6-8 weeks ago around some of the motorways that are quiet. And we just took it up to about 125 and it just sat there, and it would have gone quicker. And it handled pretty well considering that it was a great big bus like a Range Rover. So there's some real quick tackle out there now. There's cars out there now that they look like the average family domestic saloon. And they're like 400, 450 bhp. I'm not talking like, BMW 5 Series Sport, which is sort of 500 brake. I mean everyday looking cars, things that you wouldn't recognise have got a whole heap of power under the bonnet, but there's a lot of quick machines out there now. But your Lotus, it's got to be. I'd put it in the top 10 prettiest cars in the world. I like the Mark 1 Lotus Cortina. I like the earlier Elans. And the Elise, the very early Elise, the one before the Elan, looks the same really. AC Cobra, like them. 4 GT40s, like them, but there was only a few hundred of them ever made. What else is really gorgeous out there? I can't think. Oh yeah, the 1967 Ford Mustang. And the 1997 or is it 2003 Ford Mustang. My brother had 4 Mustangs. He had a Shelby, a recent model one from about 8 years ago. That was quick. And then he had a Roush, and the Roush was over 800 brake horsepower. His wife hated it. She didn't like sitting in the driving, where the driver's seat's supposed to be. And she's a non-driver, so she nagged him. So eventually he got rid of his Mustang, but you wouldn't want to go on a long journey in it. If you went over a matchstick, you'd say Swanvester. It was stiff, super stiff. But the late model Mustangs that they're importing now, they said they weren't going to bring the V8 into the country, but they have. So now you can get the full-blood V8 Mustang, and it's a real pretty looking car, and they're in right-hand drive. I've seen a few of them around, and they're rocket ships, really are rocket ships. Even if you went back to a 97 4.6 litre V8 and you put a supercharger on it, Jay Leno had one on the TV, and they put a supercharger on it. But I think it was over 208 mile an hour out of your bog standard Mustang. But the Mustangs that are coming into the UK now have got limited slip differentials. Up until just recently, the Mustangs didn't have a limited slip diff. They just had a truck axle at the rear, which didn't do anything really for the handling. Mike 1 Echo Uniform Zulu.
G0FOU, I'm shutting down the computer. Just to do that, I'm going to the door. There's a few American cars out there. He's one of them. My ex-brother-in-law, he used to have a Mustang, get this right, 928 Cobra Jet. And he had a full paint job done on it, full inspirational paint job. And he had a fluorescent white with American stars and stripes on the bonnet. And I remember while he was going on the corner, and he must have had the battery strap down, and that nearly went through the wing on it. I think that was what forced him to get it restored. But he was in 924 or 928. I think it was 928 Cobra Jet was called. For about free. Cheap. You talk about pretty cars. There's one car you did miss out, and that's the McLaren F1. That, for me, all the cars it's not over the top, it's not like a Lamborghini, it's not got the vulgarness of a Lamborghini. It's subtle, beautiful styling. 3-seater as well, which is quite a different concept, isn't it? And it's just the how it's made. No expensive car. You plug it into a socket in your garage and you'll update the software at night time for you. I mean, how's that for a car? Like space technology, isn't it? You asked about turbos before.
I've never fancied a turbo.
In the old days,
Years ago, you used to keep about half a second after you put the foot down, didn't you?
and I've heard so much about unreliability problems and what have you. I don't know why. I just prefer a normally aspirated car. And if you consider, I mean, one of the phrases he and Mr. Colin Chapman had was keep it simple and add lightness. I think that's my way of thinking. What can go wrong with an iCar?
Apart from the usual mechanical problems with your club brake, replace, what have you. There's not a lot can go wrong with it. You know, I'm not going to have electric windows failing, no air conditioning to go wrong.
No electric aerials, there's nothing. It's just an engine. I suppose I could get short wire or something like that over time.
Don't look after the car.
Let them get into it too much. But it's a pure drive experience. That's what I like. You know you're driving him. It's not a press and go kind of car. You're talking about your friend's car, big 4x4 thing, where you just don't know you do this. On this, yeah, it's a thrill. It's a smile on my face every time I get in here anyway, Tony. I think what else were you mentioning? Yeah, back to you, I'll try and remember. G0FOU.
G0FOU, M1EUZ. Yeah, I shouldn't have missed the McLaren out, really, should I? That was a mistake. Yeah, there's other super classic cars. Another American car that was a favourite was the Corvette Stingray. The very first one was a real nice car, but it had a 3-speed auto box in it. But it wasn't a very early Corvette. I think it was the next one down the line. It had the sloping rear window, and it was in two sections. It was a split-screen rear window, about 1967-ish, about that time. That might be, it's close to being one of the prettiest cars ever built. They were all fiberglass body, but the Americans run a chassis. They're still doing some cars even today. Some American cars have still got a chassis, which ain't a bad thing, really. I know it makes them heavier, but they're robust and they last. A mate of ours used to bring back cars from the States regular, 30-odd years ago. Mainly you brought back just engines. He used to flog them to lads at Santa Pod, these Hemis and that. But he used to bring back the odd tasty car. He bought back some Hemis. They were in Fords. They were police cars, something like Dade County police, Dade County police cars. And the sheriff, he could order whatever he wants. So, he'd order a Ford, and he'd have some big block Hemi put in it, and it had lowered and stiffened suspension. The gun, the cage in the back, big rubber bench seat in the back with handcuff points, the gun rack up the front, all the decals, everything on it except for the hurdy-gurdies on the roof. And these is like small sheriff's departments ordered some really super high-spec cars. Ian used to bring a few of them back. But Ian would buy anything, He went out and bought a 1957 fire engine with the big wooden ladders with the wheels on. And I turned up at his yard a few months later, and he got two more, and I said, how are you going to sell that first fire engine? And he said, well, a trading estate, he says, might be interested in it, or a chemical company who wanted their own fire engine. I said, well, why did you buy two more? He says, for spares. But he didn't. He bought it because he just wanted to be, he thought he was in Trumpton. Really lovely guy, cracking guy. Bought some incredible cars and engines. Superb engineer as well. And I've lost the plot here. I didn't know where I was going, Gary. Mike 1 Echo, United Zulu.
G0FOU returning. Talking about pretty cars. All my life, from growing up and being a kid, I'd always wondered, why don't they make cars look amazing for such an affordable price? Your Ferraris and Lamborghinis and you think, well, they're really top-end, high-priced cars. But they look amazing as well. Well, I think Lotus have cracked it with the Elite. They've come over the Aurora now, which is not as decent as but the Corvette Stingray is the car that is an area shape. I think you're referring to the Mark II Corvette, aren't you? Very, I don't know, 60s, very chromy and American. I was at the custom car, the classic car show in Birmingham, the NEC last year, and I had one there, the red one. That's G0FOU.
G0FOU, M1AUZ. Ian, not Ian, sorry. I'm looking at my piece of paper here and I've got about 300 call signs on it. Gary, I'm going to jump ship. I'm feeling a little bit parched. It's been good fun having a chat with you. We're of similar interests. All you got to tell me next is you like motor-guzzy motorcycles and old British bikes, and we'll have pretty much covered everything. But I'm going to jump ship because my throat, I've been coming off with a bit of a sore throat or a cold for the last few days, and I could do with a drink. So I'm going to bail out of it, but I'll wait for any final. Over.
Okay, Tony. I've always been a skater and ice hockey player, and I used to get a lift up to the ice rink on a giant T-bird chopper on the back of one of them. Used to pop out every lamppost. That's my experience with motorbikes. My brother had one, and Yamaha RD250 somewhere or other. And first trip out, didn't put his seat down, fell off. And he must have had about 3 or 4 spills in the time they had that motorbike. And that's what we on the bike. They must, at speed, like the Ironman 2T, must be accelerating to ride. But I just do not trust myself on a motorbike, and I certainly don't trust other drivers on the road. But perhaps in a different life, I may have had one. Anyway, Tony, 73s, you go and get yourself a cup of tea, and I'm off for the next few weeks. I'll put a few calls out, and I'll listen out for you, and we'll see if we can catch up again. 1-Echo-0-G-0-FOU. 73s, Tony.
G0FOU, M1AUZ. There's a bunch of lads come on at 3755. Not, they sort of use it as a bit of a call channel, hop and a catch. And if I'm about in the daytime, I quite often monitor here, or on one of the web receivers. I forget what name I use on the web receiver. I'm just looking for it. Heckler and Koch G3, H&K G3. So if you see that call sign on, which this is the hat, I think I'm on the hat green one. Web SDR locate. No, Nantwich, yeah, nuclear bunker. Right, yeah, it's the hat green one. If you see that Heckler and Koch G3, which is HK rifles and the G3 is the miniature version, if you see that about, give us a call. Mike 1 Echo United Zulu clear. 73, have a nice afternoon now, Gary.
Okay, 73, it's been great talking to you, Tony. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
People have sent in over the internet of what the weather's doing, and somebody from Stoley Hall put up a picture that was just on a minute ago, and it was by somebody called El Nino. ELLENINO.
And did they pick up on it?
Well, I don't know. I just take it as it comes, I suppose. All these funny names that people use when they do things like that.
Yeah. Maybe they allow non-diplumes.
Oh, there you are, you see. Anyway, my mind's going. I was discussing with a mate of mine who I've known for a long time. Actually, it was the anniversary of me starting work in 1950 a few days ago. Half a week later, the mate I was speaking to, he started work as well. Because I started work on Bank Holiday Wednesday. He didn't go to work until the Monday. He's a lazy bugger, Anyway, I was speaking to him on the phone, and I was trying to think of the word. I'd seen somebody on the telly who was very explicit. He put his case beautifully, and he'd chosen all the right words. And I couldn't think of the right word to use to describe his manner. What would you think of?
Erudite?
That came to mind, but that wasn't the one. I was talking to this mate, and I thought it starts with an E, I think. But anyway, the word I was actually searching for didn't.
No, well,
Anyway, you crossword, I thought you'd have jumped to it straight away. But the word I always actually got at the back of my mind was articulate.
Articulate, yes. We've used that, so that's come up before with ourselves.
Oh, right, that's it. I don't know. Anyway, the thing is, I'd got the back of my mind, this word started with a D. And I think what was stirred in my mind and muddy in the water was eloquent.
Another good one.
I couldn't think of either of them now. Bloody mind doesn't work now.
Don't worry about it.
You could take the other view and just call it pedantic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was nice to be the pedant. When I was looking for this, I came across Winston Churchill's the bloke you think of for a biggest vocabulary and all that sort of stuff, so I came to read a bit about him. And the one story that was there, I mean, everybody's heard about the one being drunk and being ugly in the morning and all that, but I hadn't heard was apparently he was on the bog, and the secretary came along and said that the Lord Privy Seal wanted to talk to him. He said, tell him to wait, I can only deal with one shit at a time.
KBO. Do you know the one about KBO?
I don't recall it.
Well, apparently, right through the war years, he, with any official papers that he had to sign, he would sign Winston Churchill, and at the bottom he would put KBO. And this went on for a long time, and then just after the war, this story was related by his secretary. And just after the war had ended, some diplomat somewhere plucked up the courage and said, Mr. Churchill, thank you very much for the letter, blah, blah, blah. Could you please tell me, excuse me for asking, what you sign KBO at the bottom? Well, what does it mean? And he says, well, I thought everybody knows that. Keep buggering on.
KBO? Oh. But it said D-Dog.
Yeah, and that story was related by his personal secretary.
Well, that's a bit rude.
Well, he was a public school boy, Ian.
Oh, well, no, probably only bloke that knew it apart from those who come from Harrow or somewhere.
Well, there we are. That was supposed to be a fact.
Anyway, another totally unrelated thing was I learned that they were talking the other day about one of these bosses of MI5 or something like that, the Secret Service or that sort of thing, and apparently it was a practice for the head honcho to one bloke, he always, when he signed something, all he put was the letter C in green ink. Right, and it reminded me of the bloke who used to be the general manager, the office manager when I worked in Birmingham at one time, and his name was Ream, and he used to sign R with just a single letter R in green ink, and he was the head of the special services in the war, you know, the spies and that.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember from your school days the author who signed himself Q?
Oh, that's school days.
Well, he was a poet and an author of a number of books.
Oh, right.
And it was Sir Arthur Quiller Couch, but he always signed Q, not to be confused with James Bond in later years.
Right, okay.
Anyway, coming back to Winston Churchill, you're on about his ability to write speeches and use words. It always amazes me because he had a hell of a kind of a lifestyle, and his capacity for alcohol was enormous.
Oh, absolutely.
He'd sip whiskey through the afternoon, and then prior to dinner, he'd have a magnum of champagne. And then he would have the wine through the, 5, 6, 7 courses. And then, for the rest of the evening, he would sip whiskey and water and write all his speeches until the early hours of the morning, you know?
Oh, there you are.
And it never did him any harm.
Oh, wouldn't it have been like if he didn't drink?
Well, I don't know. amazing.
Yeah. David?
Yeah? Yeah?
Based on afternoon performances, I would suggest you wouldn't do the same.
No, I double with you. Say again.
Based on afternoon performances, I suggest you wouldn't do the same.
Quite so. No, I appreciate the situation anyway now, so never mind. It was a bit of fun anyway. Pity, really. I enjoyed the afternoon.
Oh, that's... No. That's... What do you mean? Why it's gone?
No, but in so saying, I enjoyed the afternoon.
Yeah, I don't think the afternoon's finished.
No, well, probably not. It's just that I haven't been about, you know. Never mind.
I think he's just having a bit of a rest.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he'll be back on in the afternoon.
Well, you know, I think he's been quite conciliatory in his behaviour for the last number of months, you know.
Who's this?
Leave it go, Al.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't ask. But I was entirely out of context. I was just crossing my mind that I heard something advertising. I don't know what programme it was on or which channel it was on, but apparently there was a programme about Basildon last night.
Was there?
Yeah, apparently one of these singers, is it Adele or something like that, comes from Basildon.
Hang on. There was a nostalgic programme on Milton Keynes that I saw.
All right.
You don't mean that?
Oh, not at all, no.
No, okay.
Were they cleaning up the skyline?
Well, it was a bloke who had been born in Milton Keynes and was our age now, and he'd gone back to visit some of his mates, and his parents still lived there, and it was just that the whole programme was around Milton Keynes, you know?
Yeah, it's a strange place. As you know, in one of my past jobs, when one of the cell drivers when she was on holiday, I used to have to take over her little forays around the country because there weren't that many of us. And amongst the places, I mean, I've been all over, David, but the Milton Keynes, it's a weird place. It's because basically we'd do basically grid drives of the whole town to measure the cell performance and stuff, but it was very easy to do in Milton Keynes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because as he was saying, everybody thinks of Milton Keynes as a kind of a city with roundabouts, but when you were on about your mate, who you didn't realise had all these other things going on, it reminded me of he went back to Milton Keynes and met up with a schoolboy mate of his that he hadn't seen since school. And and his mate said, I could never understand you. I mean, you never kept in touch, and you went this way and that. He said, I don't know what was the matter with you. Funny, you know. Anyway, there we are. Ian, I'm going to go down the village now, okay?
Yeah, that's okay. I put a roast in. We had a pre-order for roast pork and roast potatoes and broccoli and cauliflower and so I've got that on the way, so I need to start going and tending for that. So that's fine, David.
Okay. All right. Well, no doubt you'll sleep rather well tonight.
Yes. Well, I did manage to have an hour and a half when I got back, but yeah, it was a bit broken, bit of a broken sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll probably sleep like a log tonight. All right, I might speak to you tonight if you're about. Anyway, see you, mate. See you, Alan. See you in the morning.
Yeah, okay, possibly. It was Alison Moyer that was brought up in Basildon.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I was going to ask, where's Fred?
Oh, no.
Oh, well. Right, I'll see you later, boys. Cheers, Al. Cheers, David. Mike 1 Kilo Golf Charlie.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye, Ian. Bye, Dave. G3 anyway.